Well, dear friends, it is a real honor for me to welcome a very, very special European guest here in Stockholm today. He is a big friend of Sweden and a big friend of our party and a very important colleague of mine. We meet regularly, of course, in the European Council, and we prepare all these meetings carefully together with other like-minded heads of government and heads of state. Not least is he a strong and a very firm leader behind our joint support for Ukraine. And he is also perhaps the #1 political leader acting for a stronger, a more competitive, and a more prosperous Europe. So please give my friend, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, a warm welcome.
Hey, what an audience! What an audience! Hey, great. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, Stockholm. Welcome, Sweden. And welcome, some of the Germans. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for your warm welcome. Dear Ulf, many thanks for your invitation. I'm really happy to be here this morning. Thank you for inviting me to your party convention and to this great place. And this is feeling like coming to a family and coming to friends in Europe. It's a great honor for me to be here today because you might know that today it's Europe Day. Today it's Europe Day. So, and you might know that 76 years ago, Robert Schuman presented the historic Schuman Declaration. And this initiative, this document, became the foundation of our European integration we are living with, and we are living in this Europe. Europe Day symbolizes peace, reconciliation, democracy, and cooperation across a continent, which was one divided by conflicts and war. On Europe Day, the shared blue and gold of the Swedish and the European flag reminds us of the unity that does not erase identity, but it adds to it. It gives us a wider horizon. So indeed, it's a great day to be here in Stockholm, where the Swedish and the European flags are being flown today. In this city that has such a proud and great history. A history, dear friends, that is source of strength. A history that reminds us that progress is built on strong foundations. Stockholm stands as a symbol of how heritage and innovation can come together to shape a confident future. So this sense of continuity can also be seen in Sweden's political tradition. And that is particularly true in the work of your moderate party. This moderate party success in the past years, has a great deal to do with one man. It's Ulf Kristersson. And Ulf, many thanks for your friendship, many thanks for our cooperation, and many thanks for your great leadership, not just in Sweden, but also in the entire European Union. And you might know that Ulf and I met immediately after winning the German federal elections last year. It was only 3 days after I was elected Chancellor. that we met at the Berlin airport. And from then on, there has been a grown and growing friendship, cooperation in Europe and between our respective countries. And Ulf, may I say that? Last year, when you came to Berlin, a couple of days after my birthday, you thoughtfully gifted me a warm hat, along with gloves and a scarf. Or as you put it, I would be able to weather any storm that comes my way. So he knew what I would need in the upcoming weeks and months. Dear Ulf, to be very honest, few leaders today are more experienced than you are in this regard. You know what great challenges your country and our common continent are still facing. You know that now is not the time for talk, but a time for decisive action, for decisions that strengthen the economy and the security of Sweden and Europe. As Prime Minister, and we can see that from our German perspective every day, as Prime Minister you have turned things around in your country. You put it in place a thorough and inspiring reform agenda. Fighting violent crime, pushing down illegal migration in order to tackle integration, rebuilding a strong defense with reintroduced conscription, which we are still having ahead of us in Germany, cutting red tape for business and lowering taxes, laying the groundwork for decades of reliable energy production. Those of us who fight for reforms in Europe and at home, promoting competitiveness and a stronger economy, face many challenges in these days and weeks. There is still too much, to be honest, still too much complacency in Europe holding us back. And we both, the two of us, we know that we must do more. So hard work and entrepreneurship is rewarded rather than met with contempt. That we must do more so the people in our countries can continue to live in free and prosperous societies that are more a pawn of autocratic foreign powers. There we must do more so that Europe can grow closer together. In that work, I always know that I have a partner and a colleague and a source of inspiration in you, Ulf. Many thanks for our work. So dear friends and colleagues, while seeing through major reforms, you also managed the somewhat smaller ones. I have been told that you are now removing the requirement that you must serve hot food inside in order to sell beer outside. Hey, this is... Frankly, friends, even for a German, that sounds a bit too much. Seriously, under your 4 years as Prime Minister, Ulf, Sweden has gone from the bottom to the top of Europe's growth rankings. What a success story that is. It shows that hard work pays off. I've been told that the Moderate Party slogan is effort should be rewarded. Now, your efforts, dear friends, have already paid off. And your Prime Minister, Ulf Kristersson, is amongst the most respected heads of government in all of Europe. Congratulations to your party. And dear friends, Ulf has shown reforms are never easy, but they are necessary. They can be painful, but that always yield results in the end. And I appreciate our partnership as parties. The Moderate Party and the Christian Democrats, the Christian Democratic Union in my country, they stand for pragmatic solutions, for policies of common sense, for the conviction that we must always trust individual people and not ideologies. We have been working together in the European People's Party for a long time, for a strong Europe, and for the benefit of our citizens in Sweden, in Germany, in the entire European Union. The bilateral relations between our parties are very close because we share many convictions. And dear friends, His Majesty Carl Gustaf recently celebrated his 80th birthday. He has served Sweden for more than 5 decades. May I say that? You can imagine that in Germany we take special pride in the fact that Her Majesty Queen Sylvia of Sweden was born in Germany, in Heidelberg. A couple of weeks ago she was in Berlin, and I had the honor to honor her on her work and her contributions. Remarkable contributions, particularly in the field of children's rights, care for the elderly, and support for vulnerable members of society. Through her humanitarian work and foundations, she has given a voice to those who are often unheard. She has always championed the spirit of compassion and solidarity. We are proud of her. Thank you. Now, our friendship between Sweden and Germany is built on mutual respect, shared values, and a common understanding. We are very glad to have you as partners in Europe, as friends. Sweden stands for a long tradition of stability, responsibility, and reliability. It has built a strong reputation as a country that values dialogue over confrontation and cooperation over isolation. This tradition is reflected in consistent support for peace, democracy, and the rule of law. Dear friends and colleagues, Sweden, your country, has made important contributions to both international diplomacy and multilateral cooperation. It has been an active supporter of the United Nations and has played a visible role in many ways. Mediation efforts, humanitarian initiatives, and peacekeeping missions around the globe. The trademark of Swedish diplomacy is a calm, pragmatic approach and a strong commitment to finding common ground. Yet, Sweden has always been ready to adapt to reality. One might also say that Ulf Kristersson was forged in the fire of a new geopolitical constellation in Europe. We both were. When you became Ulf Prime Minister on October 18, 2022, Sweden and we all were faced with difficult and challenging questions after the Russian attack on Ukraine. But after all, dear Ulf, you grew up in the long-time steel-making town of Torshälla, right? Torshälla. So I watched from the beginning how you did not bend, you stood firm and strong. You and your cabinet facilitated the shift in Swedish security policy. Your country made a historic choice for the security of Europe as a whole. You have since joined NATO. You have made the alliance stronger. You have made the alliance more visible in this part of Europe. And the German Federal President Steinmeier just visited Sweden and Finland in recognition of your new role as NATO members. I also deeply appreciate our joint work for our common security in the Baltics. You know that Germany is part of this part of the European Union as well. In terms of support for Ukraine, I have always been able to count on Sweden and on you. Ulf, we were both convinced that supporting Ukraine means not just supporting Ukraine in their territory, but means safeguarding our own security and our own freedom in this part of the European Union we are living in. So this is our task. And by the way, the Ukrainian flag shares the blue and yellow. For you, Ulf, it's not empty talk. You back it with real money and with tripled defense spending in the last 6 years here in Sweden. Congratulations and many thanks for this great contribution to NATO, to freedom, to security of all of us. Thank you. And dear friends, there is a lot we can learn from Nordic defense cooperation. Let me give you an example. The Swedish, Danish, Finnish and Norwegian air forces have developed a joint operational concept, Nordic Air Power Concept, with a NORDEFCO framework, and established their own Nordic division at NATO's new combined Air Operations Center in northern Norway. The Nordic Air Forces have set an ambitious goal to be able to conduct comprehensive joint air operations as a single unit. We could not have imagined that this will one day happen before this terrible war began in Ukraine. But this is now in place, and you are doing so much for our European security in that respect as well. Many thanks again what you are doing here. So, dear colleagues, dear friends, this is exactly the kind of spirit and determination we need to strengthen the European pillar within NATO. And this cooperation makes all of us, makes Europe safer. So we all know that security in Europe has fundamentally changed in recent years. It is clear that Russia poses an imminent threat to us. In this time of geopolitical uncertainty and growing security challenges, Germany carries a special responsibility, not only for its own future, but also for the unity of Europe as a whole. And we Germans, we know that. Germany needs to become an anchor in terms of security and economic stability in Europe. And I promise you today, Germany is rising to this strategic challenge. We are transforming our army, the Bundeswehr, into the, quote, strongest conventional army in Europe. Our new military strategy puts political intent into a coherent military framework. It is, of course, in line with NATO's strategy and planning. The issue of preserving and renewing the foundations of Germany's competitiveness is at the heart of our governing coalition with the Social Democrats in Berlin. That is why we are now implementing ambitious reforms in our welfare state, in our healthcare system, in our tax system. We are doing that. There is a pressing need for action after years of neglect. We have already achieved a lot in our first year. Tax relief for businesses, a healthcare reform that is now making its way through Parliament. We have managed to put in place a true shift in migration policy. Germany is no European magnet for illegal migration anymore. We have been able to reduce illegal migration, dear colleagues and friends, by 70% compared to 2023. For the first time since 2015, Germany is no longer the country with the highest number of asylum seekers in Europe. And we are reshaping the energy transition, moving away from ideology and toward greater pragmatism. I will not sugarcoat it. Working with our coalition partner isn't always easy, and you know that as well here. But it is necessary. We will not leave our country in the hand of radical forces. You don't do that, and we won't do that either in Germany, dear friends and colleagues. They are populists that want to divide our country, and they are pro-Russian politicians. We are committed to success, and we would do well to learn from others, such as from you in Sweden. We are on the same page in this respect as well, dear friends and colleagues. So I am, and we are, determined to get Germany back on track. Europe needs Germany, we know that. But Germany needs Europe as well to succeed. You might know the famed Swedish poet and Nobel laureate Thomas Tranströmer, who wrote in his famous poem Romanska bågar: Du blir aldrig färdig, och det är som det skall. For the Germans in the room, you are never finished, and that is exactly how it is meant to be. For me, that encapsulates the ongoing project of Europe integration. That we are willing to continue building, learning, and growing together. In this sense, Europe's unfinished character is not our weakness. It is a sign that its democratic spirit is very much alive. I deeply believe that Europe needs parties like ours, like you and us, as driving forces. Whenever there was a major crisis in Europe, the center-right parties were the ones providing solutions. As we are determined to make our countries better and more prosperous, we also want to build a better Europe. And let me say it clearly, these are two sides of the same coin. I believe that Sweden and Europe are better off by the policies of the moderate party and the leadership of your Prime Minister, of the leadership of Ulf Kristersson. Thank you again, Ulf. Thank you again, Ulf, for your friendship and for our close cooperation. In this sense, I hope you have a successful Sverigemötet and wish you all the best for this year's election campaign. Tack så mycket. Many thanks, dear friends and colleagues, and all the best to all of you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for our friendship. Thank you for our cooperation. All the best to you and all the best to your country. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic
Thank you.
experience. Thanks
Thank
for the
you.
warm words.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great. Great.
Thank you.
Stort tack för det. Nu är det dags för en kort paus. Vi ses igen klockan 11:15, alltså 11:15 är vi tillbaka igen.